I couldn't even blink and we've already reached the 2K. Oh, thanks a lot. Welcome to anyone who's new to the channel. I hope you like the Kirby focused videos. To show my gratitude, I would like to do a Q&A special. So feel free to ask whatever you have in your mind, even the silly questions. Hello? Is something? Welcome to Channel Kirby's 1K Q&A special, where we answer your questions regarding this channel, the Kirby franchise and many more. I'm surprised how tame they ultimately were. To have some sort of structure, we will first touch upon group questions asked by more than one viewer, then the individual ones, and finally questions, which we will answer briefly because there's already or will be a video regarding the respective topic. How was I introduced to the Kirby series, and is my first Kirby game as good as I remember? My first one was Kirby 64 and it's probably my most beaten Kirby game. When I was a child I had no idea there was a secret final boss and thought the wrong ending was a hint for a Kirby game we never got. You can probably imagine my surprise when a YouTube thumbnail someday showed me 02, making me question my whole childhood. Nonetheless, my appreciation for Kirby 64 only increased during my lifetime as a fan, as it still holds some merits over the modern titles. Why Kirby? Normally you would assume only children can connect to a character like Kirby, but for me it was the complete opposite. I think the older I grew, the more I could identify with the pink fluff ball on a deeper level, which isn't something you hear every day, I suppose. This is actually a topic for a whole video as well, but to put things short, Kirby games usually appeal to what I cherish in games, and with the first step towards 3D, they hit my soft spot even more. Apart from that, it's the freedom to experiment with spin-offs, while you have the assurance they will never forget what true Kirby is all about. For every more mediocre title, we get an absolute fantastic one, and it's rare to see a franchise being so consistent over 30 years. Favorite Kirby ability? Assuming copy abilities are implied, it's hard to answer this question in general terms because it depends on the game. Some abilities got modernized so greatly, whereas others still need to find their potential. But generally speaking, I can remember how I and my siblings always wanted to be the UFO in the Amazing Mirror. Why does Kirby wear a bow tie in your channel picture? Because you have to look nice and clean for a show like that, and I kinda feel naked without one. Favorite video game consoles? Thanks to my brother, I was lucky enough to experience the Nintendo 64, even though being way too young, but because of that, I've basically grown up with the Nintendo 64, the GameCube and Wii simultaneously. At least that's what it feels like. And from all these consoles, the GameCube left the most impressions on me due to how wacky and experimental most of the games tended to be. Paper Mario 2, Kirby Air Ride, Chibi Robo and F-Zero GX especially are still one of my all-time favorites. Who's your favorite companion character? If we mean just the simple companions from Kirby games, then I would probably say Ribbon and the whole Crystal Shard squad. The little cutscenes between each world and all their short gameplay sequences in a level really promoted the feeling of belonging to a group, something the newer Kirby games should try to recapture. Are you invested in Kirby lore? To be honest, I'm not as invested as most of you probably think. The gameplay aspects of Kirby games were always more interesting to me, and because of the already well done videos on lore, I'm not really interested in addressing this topic, because I would not be able to add something new to the conversation. Maybe I'm going to do some character analysis in the future, as this would be way more individual. Do you have children? Yes, all of you are my children. This sounds way more weird when speaking out loud. What is your favorite Nintendo game? Mario and Kirby. In terms of Kirby, it's the Amazing Mirror, and with Mario, it's Sunshine. Will you be streaming on Twitch in the future? I will never say never when it comes to these things. These things, yeah right. I will never say never when it comes to these things, but right now, I don't plan to. Originally, I actually wanted to start on Twitch, but I don't have a Twitch channel, and there would be the danger for many subscribers to miss the stream. Maybe this is going to change in the future, but much to your demise, I will keep streaming on YouTube for a while. Become a member to get some special goodies. What about the Discord server at 10k? The only reason I'm kinda hesitant towards the Discord server is how I would feel obligated to be there all the time. I tend to not chit-chat with strangers unless there's reason to, and hearing about other people's dramas and headaches regarding Discord servers, I'm kinda hesitant to create one. Can you make a stream video about playing fan games? Right now, fan games are not something I'm mega interested in, but in the future, when we played most of the Kirby games, I will surely take a look. What Kirby game do you think affected the lore the most? It's hard to say, because the more Kirby games come out, the more they escalate with the lore, but technically speaking, probably Superstar Ultra, because it started the whole pause screen lore thing in the first place. What is your favorite franchise or games other than Kirby? Besides Kirby, my taste is actually quite wide-ranging, and there's no Nintendo franchise I dislike or wouldn't try, but one of my favorites are the Bravely Default, F-Zero and Chibi Robo series. Well, I mean the first Chibi Robo game. What are your wishes for the 30th anniversary? Go watch this video. When usually playing Kirby, do you play in your native language or English? Normalerweise kommt das auf das Spiel an, weil diese Titelbildschirm-Lore-Dinger, die sind halt in jeder Sprache ein bisschen anders wegen den Übersetzungen, aber oft einfach die Sprache, die gerade eingestellt ist. Do you think Kirby's Air Ride 2 will ever be possible, seeing as Mario Kart is becoming Smash Kart? Assuming there's going to be a Nintendo Kart in the future, I don't see how this would prevent Kirby Air Ride 2 from happening. The gameplay is extremely different, focusing more on gliding instead of items, which makes Air Ride to this day one of the very few fun racers which isn't an obvious copy of Mario Kart. What is your favorite game outside the Kirby franchise? My favorite game, even beating every Kirby game, is A Hat in Time. Probably. I completed like 3 times at least in a year, and it was one, if not the most anticipated game in my life. Sometimes I get the feeling the developers try to specifically appeal to everything I love about games, and I hope I will find some opportunities to talk more about this special experience on the channel, as the A Hat in Time videos performed quite well. Here comes a chunky one. Do you feel as if Kirby could benefit from decreasing the amount of frames it takes to enter his puff flying state and exit it to make air combat feel less awkward? Very interesting, quite detailed question. To be honest, it's hard to answer this question generally. If they want to seriously think about the flying mechanic as a means to attack and fight in the air, it must be a part of the core moveset and to some extent the level design as well. Doing the D puff normally is just a last ditch attack in order to be not completely helpless when enemies approach you while flying, because they want to encourage you to use copy abilities. A scenario where a more fluid flying movement would work great is a Kirby game without any copy abilities, which is actually an attractive discussion for a whole video. What is your favorite boss fight in the series? I feel like I would give you a different answer each time you asked me on a different day, but right now, Miracle Matter from Kirby 64 will always be a memorable one. He's probably one of the hardest Kirby bosses on your first playthrough, makes use of Kirby's abilities and not the other way around, and even has this cool detail with the music, where it initially starts like the regular boss theme but shifts to a darker tone immediately. He gave me a hard time as a child, but I will never forget when I finally beat him. What's wrong with you guys? Why are your questions so pristine? Well, besides of that one children thing. Anyway, let's go for the speed questions. What are your top 5 favorite and least favorite Kirby game spin-offs included? Video in the future. Also, can you say with the gun Kirby, if you don't subscribe, I will hunt you down. I like Amazing Mirror. What would you like to see in the next Kirby game after Forgotten Land? Air Ride 2. I actually have a video idea. Could you talk about where the Kirby franchise might go after the Forgotten Land? Because I sometimes wonder if 2D Kirby is done for. Video. My question is, do you think there could be ever a fully open world Kirby game? Yes, I think so. If you were asked by Hell Laboratory to make a new copy ability for Kirby, what ability would that be? Pirate Kirby. What are your thoughts on Triple Deluxe? Very nice, sir. What do you think about Kirby's Avalanche? Never played. We're finished. Once again, thank you everyone for showing interest in the channel or Kirby in general. It always feels very amazing when people are interested in what I think about the franchise, considering how I'm just an ordinary fan as well. But before we go, there's one final question still left. Who are you? I'm Channel Kirby and I am going to be the biggest Kirby channel on YouTube. If you want to be part of this journey, then feel free to join and don't miss out on the many surprises we still have planned for hopefully bright future. Everyone is welcome, and although there's still a way to go, I'm certain we will be able to do it. Pew pew, pew pew, go and subscribe. Pew pew, pew pew.